these may just be the oldest design for a sneaker that I've ever featured on this channel so far. So if you guys want timeless, then look no further than these right here.
Zachaboo Sneaker Reviews.
Welcome to the channel. My name is Zach. You can call me Zachaboo, and I'm here for you and any sneakers you may be curious about. No brand snobbing, no shaming. I'm just here to check out and maybe give all you guys and girls out there more information about shoes that you might be interested in buying. Now, a lot of the classic sneakers I've featured on the channel so far are actually shoes of the past that were made for different sports. Take, for example, my most recent video, which featured the Nike Blazer 77. Those were originally meant for basketball. And while a lot of people out there don't see certain shoes as anything more than lifestyle stuff to make you look good, back then, that type of stuff was the peak of their footwear technology. And of course, it all started with sports. Which brings us to the shoe of the day, and this, my friends, is the Adidas Samba OG. Why is it called the Samba? To be honest, I don't really know. I do know that Samba is actually a type of dance. Actually, let me just Google that real quick. Okay. So apparently Adidas did decide to name the shoe after an indigenous Brazilian dance and music genre, in other words, Samba. Basically, Adidas aligned the shoe with Brazilian culture to make it seem as if players really needed this every time that they played. I mean, I guess it kind of worked, because these eventually went down as one of the most memorable and classic shoes of all time, not to mention iconic.
The Samba was first produced in 1949, and despite its name suggesting it was made for South American climate, it was actually made to enable football players to train on icy, hard ground. You gotta remember that Adidas, or Adidas, is a German company, and it's not so far-fetched that this was initially meant for their region's conditions, as well as the players of their respective league and national team. Yes, the Samba was made for icy conditions and hard ground, but over time we've come to see football boots, or cleats as they're called in other places, eventually evolve into what they are today, with lines such as the Copa and Predator from Adidas, or the Mercurial and Tiempo from Nike.
Yeah, look, I know there are gonna be people watching this right now going like, it's called soccer, not football. Truth be told, it really depends on where you're from. Let me just put it out there that I'm a fan of both sports. Also, I'm from the only country in Southeast Asia that doesn't have football as the top sport, and also isn't heavy into American football. So basically, I just say football for both. Now, when someone says football to me, I just go ahead and ask them whether they're talking about American football or the OG football.
American football itself does have its own version of boots, and they're called cleats, also with studs on the outsole, but the main difference being that American football cleats tend to have longer studs, which may or may not be a little sharper depending on which cleat you have. Now, with American football being very heavy on movement and sharp cuts, as well as violent plants into the ground, it's understandable why cleats for this sport are different. And it's also understandable why American football cleats aren't exactly allowed to be used on a football pitch to play OG football, or as Americans would call, soccer. Football boots, on the other hand, are designed for fast movements and to aid ball control, which is why the studs are designed differently.
Look man, I personally wear both, and I feel the difference, so trust me when I say wear a shoe or buy a shoe for its intended purpose. If you play basketball, then use a basketball shoe because the support features and whatnot tend to be different. If you're a frequent runner, then might as well use running shoes because the construction and durability is also going to be a little bit different. And if you play either football, then by all means get the ones that are labeled for the respective sport.
The Sambas, on the other hand, have become a lifestyle classic over the years, and people of all backgrounds have bought them, which is probably why it's the second best-selling sneaker from Adidas ever, with over 35 million pairs sold worldwide. The only shoe to sell more pairs is the Adidas Stan Smith. I always love the look of the Samba, and I always love the fact that they're so accessible and easy to get. But I will admit it concerned me a bit when designer Jerry Lorenzo signed a deal with Adidas and wore the Sambas. It's not that I don't like Jerry Lorenzo, I was just a little worried that his fans, aka the Jerry Boys or Jerry Dude Bros, would end up buying everything Jerry Lorenzo put on feet, at least prior to what he would design.
You know, honestly, it did kind of happen for a while here in the Philippines. As soon as Jerry put them things on, hypebeasts and Jerry Boys instantly went after the Sambas. And for a short while, it was pretty hard to find. I don't know, maybe it's the fact that Jerry Lorenzo's taken his time with his projects, or maybe it's because the Philippines being very, very heavy on hype and being very, very heavy on Nike, just ended up ignoring these, which is actually pretty good for a lot of people that wanted to get their hands on them. Look, I have nothing against people who are just after hype sneakers, and I don't have anything against people who are fans of certain designers out there. But what really grinds my gears, and I'm pulling a total Peter Griffin moment over here, what really grinds my gears is when people look down on others for not having the same taste in luxury goods or hyped up collabs. Like, I thought we all were allowed to have our personal preferences when it comes to shoes. So why does anyone need to trash others for having a totally different view on things, especially when it comes to their personal style? It's something that I absolutely hate about sneaker culture in this day and age, but we're gonna get to that in a totally different episode.
Going over the Samba, feeling it in hand, and experiencing it on feet, I can tell you that one word comes to mind, and that's quality. Quality leather upper with suede overlays, most noticeably on the forefoot, and even that little gold hit just makes it look so clean. Throw in that gum rubber outsole and you got yourself an all-timer. The most memorable colorway of the Samba is actually the black one with the white stripes on the side, but those weren't available anywhere near my size, so I had to get the white one. Speaking of sizing, I ended up getting these in a 10 because I didn't want to go to a physical store, and I must say that I probably should have waited for my usual 9.5, but wide footers may be fine going up half a size since these are intended to fit narrow, like most football boots are initially designed. And that's because it's not exactly ideal for any football players to have their boots falling off, especially when they're kicking a ball around. Like most shoes of the past turned into classic lifestyle sneakers, there really isn't any cushion in these. It's a flat shoe, which is as close to the ground as you'll get. But then again, most football boots that were ever made never really had cushion, so don't be too surprised.
And that's just it for my review on the Adidas Samba OG. And I'd say it's pretty easy to see why these are the second best-selling sneaker of all time from the brand with the 3 stripes. It's one of those sneakers that's just super duper easy to wear, and it's also highly respected all over the sneaker community. I do like the feel of this leather upper. It's soft and it's supple with very, very minimal break-in time. And it also is one of those shoes that just tends to look better as it ages. I feel like aside from casual use and futsal, or in other words, street football, these would translate pretty well to the gym if you're just into lifting weights and all that kind of stuff. But that's mostly due to how flat the shoe is, man. And that's also going to give you a nice, stable base without you having to go barefoot. If you've ever wondered why there are people in the gym who wear Converse Chuck Taylors or Vans and all that kind of stuff, then that's exactly the reason why. Now, if you are interested in grabbing a pair of these guys, I'll do my best to find an online platform which still has these available. And I'll be leaving that in the description box as well as a link to my socials. Now, if you found this video helpful in making a decision about these guys, or if you just like the content, then by all means, please hit that thumbs up button. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. Enable post notifications and share my videos with your friends, because the more subscribers we have, the more giveaways we're also going to have. currently on the road to 250 subscribers, man. So please do help in building this community, because it would be great for people to make more informed decisions when it comes to buying new sneakers. My name is Zach. You can call me Zachaboo. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.